Hello and welcome to the second episode of Mitarn Ladder. I'm sorry that it took so long for me to get this out. I've been moving house. You can hear about that in my next Mothgirl episode that I'm actually going to be releasing, I think sometime today. I hope so. I'm not sure when this is going to be uploaded, but anyway. This is a game that I'm going to just show you the opponent right now. Here he is, ZvT, a Terran player. A game that I did win, but I do feel that I played incredibly badly in it. There's a lot of mistakes that I made. Then again, my opponent did too. Okay, the strat he used, I feel, wasn't really very solid. It had gaping holes in it, which you will see in a little bit. But for now, I'm just going to switch back to my view and sort of just discuss what I feel went wrong here. Firstly, the basics. It's always good to send this overlord over to just check out this side of the base. I was actually watching it right now just to see if you can see that little edge of your opponent's command center, hatchery or nexus sticking out, and then you can turn it away just as you spot it, and your opponent might well not even see your overlord scouting. So yeah, that'll just force your opponent to scout. Not that it really made a difference in my game because he did scout quite early. So I went around his base, and I just what I'm doing here is I'm just trying to keep his SCV a little bit busy. I did get the first hit in, which means he has to pull another one off his mineral line to save this one. So delaying that Rax a little bit. I didn't go and look at the gas. That's a little bit of a blunder. I was planning on going back, but I just never got to it. So yeah, that's one little thing. This second overlord I generally try to put around. I know his base is here now, so I generally try to put the second overlord above his ramp, above his natural, sorry, on the cliffs, so that I can see when he expands. Often Terran sort of feel that they should expand when the Zerg expands, so they have some sort of little fast expand strat in, which is not always the best idea, but we're not discussing Terran right now, are we? Another thing I would like to point out is this cool little base build that I've got here. For some reason my fraps is actually limited to 25 FPS. Anyway, this base build that I got here, I actually watched a recent Day 9 daily of Zerg openings, and this is a pretty cool little base build that he showed me. Or he showed us, the entire world. I'm sure all the Zergs are going to be doing it now, where you can actually put your extractor right next to your spawning pool right next to your extractor, and at the bottom you'll put your extractor down and your roach warren can go right next to that. Then you'll have these little funnels that you can use to sort of block with roaches. Basically, in the end, it just gives you sort of a slightly more closed up base, and it'll be just a lot harder for your opponents to actually get in there with, be it Helions or Zerglings in a ZvT. And here, this overlord, as you can see, I'm just waypointing around here so that I can just scoot it over into my opponent's base and have a peek a little bit later on, which I, for the record, didn't do. Yes, okay. So I didn't fast expand here. I realized that I was close ground positions, and with this tiny little gap between our bases, I thought it unwise. So I decided to go for the Zergling speed, and the reason I get the Roach Warren as well, you know, I went into this with a sort of loose strat in mind. I didn't really have an idea. The reason I get the Roach Warren out first, before I do anything else, is to get a couple of roaches to just block my ramp. Because often I've played a few Terrans recently that have been doing like a sort of a mass Helion thing, or just a couple, even a couple of them. If they can sneak up your ramp, they can do quite a bit of damage. So I block the ramp with the roaches, just 3 roaches in a row there. And I think Day 9 also says it best. I know I'll keep referring to Day 9, excuse that. But they make you feel a lot more safe. If you have a couple of roaches out at the start of the game, you can fend off some early attacks and replenish them as need be. I'm going to open the production tab now, so you'll be able to see what my opponent is doing. There's that tech lab and that starport. We're not going to watch him on the map just yet, but you can see that he is in fact getting that Banshee cloak with the Banshees out, but that's a story for a couple of minutes from now. So in my base at the moment, you can see I'm getting the second gas out. I don't know if that was really too early or not, but I decided sort of around now that I was going to go for some Mutalisks. I wanted to try do a bit of harass. The only problem I have with that is that that's actually the reason I got the Zergling speed, is that generally the Terran usually goes Marines. I mean, we know that. That's just what more often than not happens. And then I saw his base, I saw these Helions, and I knew that that was coming. And I was then, at that moment, actually pretty happy that I got those roaches out. Lucky guess, sure. I got my second queen out here, just going to move it over to the expansion. And, okay, so one thing, I'm not going to be pausing the game here. A lot of people said it's not really necessary. But one thing I have to point out is that I don't saturate my mineral lines well enough. I don't even know what to say about that. That's like a problem that I have always had. I suppose that just comes from playing Warcraft 3 too much. I don't build enough workers. I try. I like really try to do it. But then you get, as a Zerg player, you get to this point where you think, okay, my income's actually not so bad at the moment. I've got quite a few minerals coming in. I got quite a bit of gas coming in. Why don't I just, chill on the drones and slow down a little bit and get a few more units out? And that's good and all. You need those units. You need to be able to, fend off those attacks. But I could have done with a lot more drones. And at the moment, I wasn't in that much danger. As you can see here, I'm getting the Evo chamber out because I did suspect something. I saw Helions. And that's it. I saw the factory with the factory of the reactor. I saw Helion, so he has to put in that gas somewhere. If he's getting any gas, it has to be going somewhere. What I should have done is I should have maybe just moved this Overlord up into his base to have a look there, see what I can see. And I could have even done the same with this one that I actually said I would have put here, but I didn't. So yeah, you can have a look at the production tab. I'm not going to be talking about that too much, but the first Banshees are on their way out, and I was slightly late with getting the anti-air out. And generally I think Zerg players tend to get a couple of extra queens out. I'm not that good with my queen micro is terrible. Okay, I keep forgetting what the transfusion key is. It's just so easy. It's actually T. But I just keep forgetting, and I never transfuse, and I always lose my queen. So here you go. You can actually see me losing my queen now, and that's a big blunder once again. I did throw down my Spire just a couple of seconds ago, and I'll talk about why I threw down the Baneling Nest as well. And lucky for Mr. Terran here, I'm going to switch to his view. He sees the Spire, he sees the Baneling Nest. He gets a good bunch of intel here. He doesn't get that many kills, sure. This queen comes and puts an end to that. Brave queen. He gets, I think, a total of 3 kills, and then he has to pull that Banshee back. And he's actually gathering in the middle of the map here, but I'm gonna switch back to my view now. So maybe an overreaction from me. Yes, I think I threw down too many spore crawlers. There's one over here, there's one over there. There should be, there's 2 in my main. Well, maybe not too many. But I know in a minute or two I will throw down a couple more, and that ends up being, too many. So, my Terran buddy is moving out here, and once again, there's those roaches. I'm going to switch to my view again. There's those roaches. They do make me feel a little bit more safe. I've got the 2 Spine Crawlers there, just a bit of a precaution. And then I should point out that I've got a ton of gas. I was planning on using that. I didn't get around to it. I was sort of getting caught up in this game and getting all excited about not losing. So, brilliant play here. I'm going to pause now for the first time in the game. Good play by the Zerg player. Listen to me. Good play by the Terran player here. He forces me to actually unburrow these 2, and then as I do it, he powers in here with his Marauders and Helions. And I don't know, if you look around my base, I don't have that much to defend with. That's a decent amount of roaches. But you can see, the second I saw those Marauders, I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to need some Zerglings for that. But my control with those Zerglings was obviously pretty terrible. So I'm going to unpause and just let this unravel here. And yes, unravel, because I do take some serious damage. So, yeah, I'm going to leave the health bars on. You can see, doing pretty good. I have to pull back, and I do that because I want him in the range of my Spine Crawlers. I managed to save the Queen there, which I don't often do. So he's whittling down my forces, but I do have a bunch of Zerglings coming out. So some people might say that's an overreaction, but I really don't think it is, because you do need to defend your base, and he was in fact moving up in here. At the same time, he's gonna come in with a couple of Banshees soon, which did cause a bit of damage. So there's that one Banshee back again for more mischief. And here's what I'm talking about. I really could have saved that Queen. I could have moved it back. So he's trying to do a bit of damage here. I did take those units out with these Zerglings. And yeah, maybe not the best control from him. We were evenly matched, I'll say that. So he must be in Diamond. I don't make it a habit of actually checking their profiles afterwards. It's not that important to me. So evenly matched, let's just say that. Which doesn't say very much. Okay, so sort of panic mode here, recovery mode. Once again, saturation, not great. Income-wise, he's actually pulling ahead of me at the moment, so I don't know if he's expanded yet. I will assume he has, and there, again, I didn't use my overlords to their full potential. You know, that it doesn't cost very much. Even if I lose that overlord, I could have used it. And here I'm getting a bunch more Zerglings out because I sort of expected him to carry on with the Marauders and the Helions, and I thought to myself, okay, that'll be fine. Along with the Mutalisks, I'm actually planning on getting with that 1,600 gas. So right now it was a bit of a like, oh crap, okay, I've got so much gas and I'm not using it. That's probably at the moment the biggest mistake I made. That along with my mineral line saturation, I mean that goes hand in hand because I'm getting full gas. My gases are saturated, all three of them, not the fourth one, and that's why I've got so much gas and my minerals are just going up so slowly. So here I decided, okay, I'm saving up for my Mutalisks. I'm saving up now. I'm going to get a couple of overlords out. You can see I'm getting 3 out now, and then the next units I build will be those Mutalisks. And that was to me a good choice because I thought to myself, okay, if he's going to continue with this Banshee harass, which I don't know, I sort of suspected it, it would have been a good idea. And the reason I got so many Zerglings out and that Baneling Nest I haven't actually spoken about, the Baneling Nest to me is sort of like a buffer. If he switches to Marines to counter my Mutalisks, I'll have a ton of Banelings out. If he pushes into my base with whatever it is on the ground, I'll be able to throw the Banelings at him, and they do some serious damage. Let's not joke around about that. So here, I wasn't too stressed about this. I did know that my Mutalisks were coming out in just a matter of seconds, so they do pop out, they do take his units out, and I saw this. Okay, I thought to myself, yippee, I don't see any anti-air right there. I think to myself as well that I think he brought that SCV with to build missile turrets. I'm not sure. I can't say for sure. I'm not a Terran player. I'm not anymore. But it would have been a good idea. So he pulls back immediately because obviously he's got no defense against that. And that's why I say he sort of made as big mistakes as I did, because I didn't have a single bit of anti-air and this was sort of free reign for my Mutalisks. But back in my base, I'm pumping out even more Mutalisks. I did manage to get my gas down quite a bit, but then still, there's that mineral line saturation that's like really lacking. And then here we just went on a sort of a run around the rosy here, running around the map, and I'm just trying to sort of like kill what I can, and I must say terrible control here by me. I generally try to control my Mutalisks group 2 for Mutalisks group 1 for my ground units. When I get Banelings out, I sort of throw the Banelings on 2 because I want to control them separately. So I did do nice damage, okay, for sure. I took out a lot of units. He wasted a stim there to sort of split those off, and it didn't really help him very much. I could have been spreading this creep a little bit more. That's another thing I should have been doing actually. So a bunch more Mutalisks out. When I got those in there, then I was feeling really good about this game. I thought to myself, I've done enough damage. There's no way he can recover. But at the same time, another thing I didn't talk about was this expansion down here. And I didn't talk about it because I find it was pretty useless. But if you have a look at this, this is sort of... I'm going to pause now. Yes, sorry. Forgive me. But this is sort of that critical mass of Mutalisks that... that's a lot of Mutalisks. That's 15 Mutalisks. You know, a turret's not going to stop that. Unless he has a ton of SCVs to repairing it, one turret will not make a difference. So, I threw that expansion down a little while ago, but I feel I should have expanded earlier, because we're at the 17-minute mark now, and Zerg, I personally feel that if you're doing okay in a game, the Zerg should probably, not always, be expanding, because you don't want to be... on 2 base versus 2 base, which I am on now, which means I actually really got lucky in this game. But you don't want to be in 2 base versus 2 base, and you should probably be expanding just, you know, around the 10-minute mark, maybe just after it. Even if you don't fully saturate the base, it'll give you extra larva. It'll allow you to spread your creep a little bit easier because you can get a queen there, spread the creep from a different location. I don't even need to list all the benefits of that. So if you're a Zerg player, be greedy. Go for the entire map if you can. Not at the same time, but, you know, be greedy about it. So I'm just looking around here. I'm still pumping out Zerglings because I thought to myself, maybe I'll have to bust into his base. And I had quite a few minerals extra. I feel I should have maybe just spent that on more Mutalisks because that's a lot of gas that I could have spent there. Sure, I could have morphed in some Banelings, but still. So then I'm going to unpause again. I went around his base. I just killed what I could. I saw he had a couple Marines out, but that's not really a lot. So I suppose Terran Guy's heart must be sinking here because not much you can do about that. Production tab pretty empty at the moment. So yeah, concentrating 100% on the fight, not doing what I should be doing and macroing my base at the same time. Let's see, I'm not even vomiting larva. Nope, I'm not. That's terrible, Swen. What are you doing? So there's the GG, and there's the Terran player quitting. So in essence, this game didn't go too badly for me, but I feel that, like, I do feel that I was better than this guy, and no offense, ZvT, if you manage to ever see this. I do feel that I was slightly better, and I do feel that I should have handled this better. I did tell you what I feel the mistakes were. One thing is, these Zerglings weren't really doing much over here. I could have morphed them into Banelings, but I hadn't even gotten the Baneling speed upgrade yet. So, what I was doing was I was sort of throwing all my eggs into one basket with these Mutalisks, because looking at it now, I was getting the upgrade for them, sure, but I didn't have roach speed, I didn't have baneling speed, I had metabolic boost, but I didn't have any upgrades for any of my units. So there's a few mistakes that I made that I could have done differently. Other than that, saturation on the mineral line, expanding earlier, better scouting, please, just, I'll mention this in every single one of my shoutcasts all the time. Scouting is key. It is really, really important. And it's one thing that you just can't skimp on. It doesn't matter if it costs you a couple of minerals, you've got to do it. So that's it for this. You know, all these Zerglings here, shame. Look at them just standing around here. That's it for this episode. I'm going to try to do another one tonight. I have been slacking recently, and I do apologize for that. We've been moving house. I can tell you just, we've been moving from a flat to a house. And all our stuff is in one room at the moment. It's actually pretty bad. 2 computers, our dog's bed, our dog's chair. Yes, he has a bed and a chair. He's quite privileged. And our beds, all our clothes and stuff. It's in one room at the moment because the rest of the house is still full of my parents' stuff. But anyway, okay, so enough about that. I won't tell you about that now. Thanks for watching. If there are any other gaping holes that you can see in my strat, in my play, a few things that you maybe do against this kind of strat that Terran did here, I do feel that the strat was slightly flaky, slightly inconsistent because he didn't have any anti-air out. I do see that he has an armory out. He might have been planning to go Thors, but he didn't even set up his factories yet. So I suppose his mind was in the right place, but he just didn't get around to it. So anyway, if you have any other things that you can add to this, add to what I just said, please let me know. Any input is welcome. The next game I upload is probably going to be one of me losing, because, you know, I'm going to tell you now, I do that a lot. I do lose a lot. Okay, so I'll just sort of analyze that one instead, just for a bit of a change, and let you guys help me out with that too. And maybe I can help you out too. Anyway, maybe I can figure out why I lost, which is always something that one should do, what I could have done differently, all that good stuff. So thanks for watching, and check back here soon for the next one.